Welcome back to the video series on test positions of decoying tactic which we had learnt last. Let us start with part 1. The first in this is from the game between Ivanovsky and Lusistro with black to play and win. Let us examine the position closely. We see black bishop on c5 controlling vital squares around the king, that is e3 and f2. Imagine if knight is able to come to e1 and give a check, then not only it would like cover f3 but also g2, and it would be check and mate as king does not have a flight square on g4. So how does knight get an entry to e1? We see that rook of white is guarding the e1 square. That is why the decoying tactic is that rook should not stay on d1. It should be pushed away from the first rank. So the move is easy to guess. White offers the queen, queen d3 check, and here it is game over for white. For example, rook captures d3 and knight e1 is check and mate. Let us examine what if white does not accept the queen and he moves to in this position to g2. Well, he does not have choice of any other square. For example, we had seen he cannot go to g4 and f2 and e3. So let us see what happens if he goes to g2. Well, in that case, he loses support to knight and black will capture everything with a check. So there first comes queen into d2 with a check, forces king to h1. Again, he does not have a square on g1. There follows queen into d1 with a check, again king to g2. Now comes queen e2 check, again king to h1, and then here queen f1 check, king to h2 only move, and finally queen g1 check and mate. So a wonderful variation as to what would have happened if white does not capture the queen on d3 and moves away to safety. Number 2 in this position is from the game between Zick and Link played at Flensburg, and here it is black to play. So what do we see? That mate is around the corner. Black would like to play queen f2 and its mate, but only problem is queen is guarding this. How do we decoy the queen from its current location? So there comes the move, rook d1 check, beautiful rook sacrifice. This has to be accepted. So there follows queen into d1, and now queen f2 is check and mate. Let us examine what if king captures d1 instead of queen captures d1. Well, in that case, he loses support to the bishop on f1 here. Black will simply capture it. Queen captures f1. Result is same. It is check and mate. Moving on to number 3. It's from the game between Ustinov and Ilyatsky played at the then USSR. It is white to play and win. So here you see that black king has already been dragged out. He is on f6, and white will be able to inflict checkmate if it's drawn further, say on the g file. With this comes the idea of g5 check. Super, a simple pawn sacrifice which forces the king to accept it, because we can see here that with white controlling the entire 7th rank with his queen, it is not possible for black king to move back. He does not even have a flight square on e5 or f5. So he is forced to accept this sacrifice, drags him further, and now queen takes an entry, brings it to f4, and we see it is check and mate. Going on to number 4 in this position, It's a game between Youngworth and Yasser Sirwan with black to play. Now what has white done? Let us examine material count. We see that both sides have got a queen, a rook each and a minor piece each. White has got 5 pawns, black has 4, and they are good pawns, like good central commanding, but black's pieces are in good position. And here what has white done? He is praying for exchange of queen, because queen and knight are in deadly position to deliver check and mate. So imagine if black queen can get an entry on f3 and checks it from there, then you know, like, king will have only one move, and then knight can declare checkmate with nh3 check. But as of now, the f3 square is guarded by queen on d1. That is where the idea of decoy comes. Black plays rook c1 check, and what he does, he pins the queen. So here, like, here white does not have any option of moving the queen to a safe square. He is decoyed to c1, allows black to play queen to h3, queen to f3 check, my apologies. King g1 is forced and knight h3 is check and mate. Number 5 in part 1 of decoy test position. This is from the game between c8 and rel step. It is black to play and win. So here now black has to take a quick action, because white is threatening checkmate in 1 with queen into g7. Rook has taken a commanding post on e7. So the winning move, the decoying move, is easy to guess. The black king, which is standing on g1, should be decoyed to h1 square, so that bishop of black on d1 can come to f3 with a check, that is also square vacation, and then the rook of black will invade with a check on d1 to declare check and mate. So again, a wonderful queen sacrifice, everything is forced, king captures h1, then comes bishop f3 check, forces king back to g1, and now we have rook d1 check, no other option excepting playing rook e1, but that delays checkmate only by one move. Rook captures, e1 is check and mate. I hope you have been able to understand this solution. The final test position in part 1, and it is black to play and win. This position is from the game between Paulo and Anderson, played at Dortmund in the year 1973. What we find here is that, like, queen has moved to h6, but like does not have any support, and here is in somewhat, you know, not a comfortable position. The idea of decoying the queen comes with bishop g5, fantastic move. Of course, it's a sacrifice because bishop does not have any support, but needs to be accepted because now we see that queen does not have any flight square on the h file. His way is blocked. There is no way to protect herself. So this capture is forced, and now this move queen g5 brings it on a knight square distance in relation to knight on f4. So there comes knight h3, knight 4, and after king gets out of check, we see black going queen up with knight captures g5. So this concludes our part 1 of the test on decoy. I will be back with part 2. Bye for now.